Asian party.
Welcome back to Asian Party!
What up, you guys? It's Nina.
It's Nikki, and here we have the infamous Gregory Yang.
Ooh, infamous.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Famous.
So excited.
Yes.
I don't feel famous at all.
No, you're awesome. What? You are an actor, writer, and producer out here in LA, but originally from Minnesota, right?
Yes, actor first, writer second, producer by necessity, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, originally from the Twin Cities area. Grew up in Florida. Started my professional career back in the Twin Cities, and now I'm, doing the whole thing in LA. So.
Oh, congratulations!
I know.
Thanks.
We got Minnesota talent out here in LA now.
Exactly. Midwest represent.
I feel like there's a lot of people from the Midwest just moving to LA in general for all like the creative stuff.
Yes.
Totally.
I think we're tired of waiting.
Like, it's our turn.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's like,
especially young people.
Yes.
I know. It's Kalina and I went actually to our friend Philippe's.
Oh yes.
He threw like a end of summer Hmong like potluck.
Yes.
I never felt such a strong sense of community.
Dude, I loved it so much.
I've
I've never seen so many. I mean, I've seen a lot of Hmong people, but I've never seen this many Hmong people, I guess, like, on so many different levels.
On so many different levels, and also in a community where there's not that many Hmong people.
Yes.
And I'm a firm believer, since I kind of grew up in a smaller Hmong community, more smaller communities lead to more intimate connections, friendships.
Yeah.
And so with us having that in Los Angeles, there's this really special connection of just us knowing us knowing each other and knowing, all kind of like understanding what it's like to be Hmong.
Honestly, yeah. I'm sitting here like, oh, you out here too? Why?
Yeah.
What made you come out here? How'd you do it?
Those are definitely the top like 5 questions I ask someone when I meet them. Like, oh, what brings you here?
When, why, how come? Who did it? I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Who'd you come with by yourself? I'm just kidding. But no, thank you so much for coming today and blessing us with your presence and your talent. Please, I mean, I don't want to take all this because I know Greg has so much. He does so much. So please tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're doing, and what you got going on.
Yeah, definitely. I'm an actor first and foremost. I think that's the reason why I, came to LA. But nowadays it's hard to be just the actor, if that makes sense. You want to create roles that. You want to create roles that you want to do. You don't want to do and not work in this box where Hollywood or Westerners may want to place us.
Yeah, where they think we are.
Yeah, exactly. And so for me, I am very much an actor. I started my training in Florida when I first moved to Florida. I specifically.
When did you move to Florida?
Yeah, I moved to Florida when I turned 10. My parents had an early midlife.
Yeah.
Whoa!
You were like really raised in Florida then.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
They got Hmong people out in Florida?
very small. It was so gnarly because because you're from Minnesota as well too.
Yeah.
Like Hmong New Year's, it was at the River Center.
Yes.
And so our first Hmong New Year in Florida was at the Hmong organization that ran the Hmong New Year. They rented this community center, like half a community center. And so it was like in this half a basketball court, if that makes sense. Yeah. And then outside was like the fields where they had like really like where we had vendors, but there weren't that many vendors. Kids were playing like football and things like that.
That is so cute.
It's really cute.
It's really intimate.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm proud of the Florida community for making something out of it. You know what I mean?
Totally. I'm a firm believer in that too. Shameless plug. I'm a.
I know. Let me open mine. I'm not gonna lie. I just drank mine. It was so good. I was like.
Shamelessly. But yeah.
We should cheers. Hold on. Let's cheers on it.
Totally.
Yes.
Cheers.
Yes.
I love
Thai
Thai
tea.
My dumb ass forgot to shake it.
Me too.
But yeah, so Florida is where I kind of grew up at. I remember specifically the moment I wanted to be an actor was my mom. Yeah, my mom. Her and I. We were watching the Oscars. And
What?
Yeah,
I love the Oscars.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, it was the year Jamie Foxx won, and
Oh,
it was really cool.
for which one? What did he win
He played
for?
Ray Charles in the movie Ray.
Oh yes,
And-
for Ray Charles. Oh my god.
And so watching
that
that
was a good one.
movie, I was watching the Oscars. I was like, Mom, there's no Asian people here, and it was really cool seeing a black person win the Oscars as well too. Like, there were past black actors who did win Oscars, but just like for me watching for the first time and like looking in a room full of like so many white people and actors, and just realizing like representation really wasn't much a thing back then.
Yeah, not at all.
So I asked Mom and was like, "Hey, Mom, has an Asian person ever won Best Actor?" And Mom's all like, "I don't think an Asian person has ever been nominated for Best Actor or Best Supporting Actor."
That is such a cute question. How old were you when you asked this?
If I was in 6th grade, I was probably 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Wow, you were
Yeah.
actually pretty. I'm pretty sure everybody thinks that, but the fact that you actually asked your mom, like, has any Asian people won the Oscars? Like, that is so cute.
And it's just was like I told a friend this story as well too. So he's like, "Oh, like so you like became an actor by activism essentially." I guess so.
Yeah. It was your calling.
It did feel like very much like a calling, and so like literally the next month later, she signed me up for an acting class, and
Oh,
That's
such a
how I-
supportive mom. Thank you, Mommy Greg.
Mama Yang is
Yes.
pretty cool.
Yes.
I love Mama Yang and stuff. Yeah.
I love it when parents really support our dreams.
I love that
Yes.
so. I love seeing parents who really support their kids' dreams. Like, I've seen so many of that now. Not saying I didn't really have that, but parents are just a little more strict growing up too.
Yeah.
But just seeing that with the people that do have it, I'm like, I love that. I love that there's so many different types of Hmong people out here that we do actually have parents who are like, oh, yeah, you want to do that?
Mhm.
Let's get you signed up.
Yeah. I'd say it's definitely become more welcomed as we as we grow up and as we see like our older brothers, cousins start to become parents. They're still part of our generation.
Yeah.
But they still, have the experiences and the wants and needs they may not have had fulfilled as a child, but now they get to demonstrate that to their children and give them the opportunities that they wish that they had.
Yeah.
That is very true.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's that. Yeah.
Okay, wait, but you being a little shy right now because right now you got something big going on.
Yeah.
Okay,
what's
so
going on?
we're gonna go there anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. So yes, I am also the creator of a television pilot called Modern Shaman.
Television pilot, you guys!
Our goal for this pilot is to get it distributed. So we want people to watch it. We want people to recognize it. Luckily, I have a really cool manager here that is trying to, get it brought to the table to some distributors or at least people that can help with distribution. We are officially at the beginning of our festival season. So when you're in a festival,
I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah, so there's so many film festivals across the nation and across the world.
Yeah.
But just as importantly as TV is becoming more and more of a powerhouse within media consumption, a lot of these festivals now have a category for episodic content or TV content.
Yep.
And so we are looking at big festivals that we want to submit Modern Shaman specifically to, especially for that category.
Yeah.
And from there, hopefully we can bump elbows with the right people that can help us with distribution and getting it to networks and services that we want to share Modern Shaman. And our goal is essentially to get Hmong and Southeast Asian television on TV.
Yes.
That is the goal.
Dude,
We're gonna accomplish it because it's a beautiful, beautiful
Yes.
place that we just can't wait to show the world. We just can't show it yet until our festival season is over.
Yes.
Can you kind of explain for people who don't know what Modern Shaman is, can you explain what that is?
Yeah.
Or what the storyline is?
Definitely. So Modern Shaman is about a modern day Hmong shaman who finds himself losing his spirituality when the spirit show him a new light, and that light is the spotlight of showbiz and acting.
Wow!
The way you said that, it was
I
like,
love that.
To be fair, it is our log line, so it's like just something that's ingrained in my brain the whole
Yeah,
time.
dude, that's good.
yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds so good. I love that though.
Yeah. yeah, it's really about just it's a fun concept, blending the worlds of shamanism and blending the world of independent theater together. But it's really but for me it's something that's like, I don't want to say it's crazy personal, but it's definitely one of those things. It's definitely combining two loves that I have, which is of course theater and of course my culture.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. What was the process like getting everything together? Like, when did you even start writing this script?
Yeah, so how Modern Shaman started, I was really inspired by just making really low budget content.
That's usually where it starts, right?
Yeah, that's kind of where it starts. And so one of my biggest heroes of all time is Issa Rae from Insecure.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
she did a great job with that.
It's one of my favorite TV shows is Insecure. And but Insecure started off as a web series called Awkward Black Girl.
What?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's amazing. Watch it. It's such a low budget quality stuff, but you could see the heart and endearment in it, and that's what made it work. And so Modern Shaman originally was going to just be a bunch of sketch comedy, like just following this shaman who wants to be an actor.
Yeah.
And I was playing around with these sketches and like making them like really like almost like dorky to even stupid comedy. But then when I won a grant to create a pilot, it was originally for a different project called Plaza, which is about growing up in the Hmong housing projects in Minnesota. I just felt like at the time, though, I wasn't really ready to tell that story because it wasn't my story. It was my parents, the older generation story. And I just felt like, as much as I do want to tell their story, now is our time, and we should tell the stories that best reflect us.
That is true.
So I adjusted my grant to tell Modern Shaman instead.
I love that.
Yeah. And then from there, crowdfunding was another source of on how we were able to fund things. We got very, very lucky. We worked on we used a site called Seed and Spark that specializes in crowdfunding for film.
Nice.
And we had over 165 backers on us to raise roughly over $12,000.
Yo!
Wow! Yeah, I also love how you kind of set that up where you gave like people who sponsored or gave some sort of money to sorry, I can't talk, in packages. You gave them packages of some sort about Modern Shaman. When I got my email, I was like, oh my god, I get a whole track list. Like, that's so cool.
Sure. Yeah. I love that because we were very it
was very intentional.
It is very intentional.
Yeah.
We it's funny. When we crowdfunded and all our contributors, we were super grateful for them, and we wanted to very much make them a part of this story because it's pretty much their story too. And especially if you're a Hmong person, I think Modern Shaman really reflects everybody because we are all modern shamans when you think about it.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
And I'm really happy you enjoyed that package.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you. It's like, ooh, and I get a sneak peek on the trailer. Oh my god! Like I saw that email and I'm like, I have to click. It was like clickbait for me. I was like, what? Modern Shaman in my emails?
Dude, that's so cool because I am somebody who obviously, I've never really been in film or like in the industry like that because I am, but not. I'm not in entertainment, like I'm in music. So to hear about like crowdfunding and like just all that stuff is so new to me. Yeah. And even just like the tears, I was like, I literally watched an anime just to like that talked about the same thing too. But to see it happen in real life and see that you are proof and like literally you've done it. Like that's so phenomenal. I'm like, oh my god! And you got $12,000. That's amazing.
I appreciate that. Yeah, like $12,000, $12,000 in my grant. We had a total budget of I'm not gonna say much, but it's definitely very much like
it's still low budget.
It's still low budget. Yeah. Like it's very much a small water droplet in a huge bucket of a production that where people can do. It's like if you compare Stranger Things to our budgets. Totally,
oh my god!
I mean like. But it's billions of dollars going into like films shows like Stranger Things and
Yeah, totally.
So,
it's funny though. It's just and I appreciate. Thank you for the compliment. I still feel like I'm learning so much as I go, especially in the producer route. But we're trying, and I feel very and I learned a lot of lessons this year and lessons for the good, I'd say. So, no.
Man, I was gonna say, I'm like, well, thanks to Greg, actually, we got a sneak peek of the film.
Oh my god, yeah.
So it was super good. We actually got to watch it and then do some little reactions for y'all. So, you know, we've been dropping that. But it was super good. And then, obviously, you know, now we have questions.
Yeah.
So,
Lots of questions.
So the first question I have for you is, why shamanism and what inspired you to write, like, based off of this theme?
Yeah, I'm very interested in the relationships we have with our spirits, whether they are living or dead. And so I specifically chose shamanism because, one, it's a very beautiful practice that sometimes gets glorified, even though it's a very, very hard practice. I would never want to personally become a shaman, but I do, and I am interested in, like I mentioned, relationships we have with spirits. My writing tends to be very supernatural. Like, I always bring an element of spirituality into it as well, too.
I love that. We need more of that, to be honest.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, that really is kind of part of what makes Hmong culture.
Yeah.
We've kind of always been in the supernatural. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
we are, when you look at the, I guess the umbrella of animism and shamanism being part of that umbrella, it's very, it's very much part of our identity. When you talk to, I guess, an American who knows about Hmong people, they're probably like, oh yeah, like they practice shamanism. They wear the red cloths and the jingle bells.
Yes.
A lot. I think we're very much known for that. You know?
Yes.
But why I chose shamanism was because I wanted to play with the idea of relationships with spirits, but also play with the idea of theater ghosts. Because when you work in theater, there's that saying about there's ghosts in the theater that live there, and that's why you have to that's why you always have to have a light on. Inside a theater space. And that light there's a.
You know what? I've heard of this.
That's scary.
There's a pole of light, and that you put on the middle of the stage, and you leave it on overnight, and that's called the ghost light.
Wait, a pole light?
Yeah, so like literally like a light stand, and then you or like a lamp, and you leave that lamp on in the middle of the stage. Back in the day, people would light a torch instead.
What?
So is that to like just attract the spirits to let them know?
I think it's more of like a ward.
Like attract the hell! Don't turn off that light, girl. I'm supposed to scare off the ghost.
Scare or attract them or like
Yeah, it's very much to be a ward, and so I wanted to play around with these with the ideas and how it blends, and not to mention I don't know if you saw the musical Tick Tick Boom. But it is there's a concept. It's about a playwright named Jonathan Larson who created the musical Rent.
Whoa! Okay.
I love Rent.
Yeah.
And I love the song in Rent.
but it's funny. One of his mentors, Stephen Sondheim, who's also probably the greatest musical writers in the world ever.
Yes.
But they talked about. They talked about like when you're like in the middle of your career, start writing about what you know. And I feel like with Modern Shaman, I really wanted to write about what I know, write about what I knew.
Yeah.
Which is of course theater and my culture, you know.
I love
and
that.
So that's how Modern Shaman is really sparked. In addition to all the fun other things that we talked about too.
Dude, and I think that really shows. I think you did such a good job. I mean, after seeing it, I'm not trying to spill too much, but did such a good job in the film displaying that, especially with all the themes that you had going on. I was like, I loved everything. So
I felt like every emotion. There is that. I think that's like the mess. You know, like if I were to review, I wouldn't say anything. I'd be like, you guys need to watch it because you guys are literally going to feel every single emotion. Like, you know, sad, funny, happy, like angry almost, and then
some
like
TikTok trends where you have to be like happy, sad. That's exactly how I felt.
Have you guys seen the movie Inside Out, the Pixar movie?
Yes!
All of our emotions
literally activated.
Oh my god.
I'm really happy because we very much call ourselves. We wanted to call ourselves like a dark comedy, but then afterwards we're like, no, I think this is actually a feel good comedy.
Yeah,
dude, it makes you feel so many different things. You know? And,
I love it.
Yeah,
I really feel like this film really stimulates everything.
Good.
Honestly.
Good.
Outside of that, how was it like setting up most of the like dramatic shots? Well, personally for me, like I love just the way it was from the transitions within the movie. How was that setting those shots up?
Honestly, I just have a really good team. I feel half the time, and I'm not trying to say this to be modest, but half the time, a lot of stuff that was accomplished was just finding and hiring the right people to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer in that.
That is very true.
Yeah, I'm so blessed to have an amazing team that can, do the things that I can't do. So so what I'm good at doing is I know I'm a good actor, I know I'm a good writer, and I know I'm really good at bringing people together when it comes to projects and when it comes to art. And so I like to, so I feel like that's what I specialize in when it comes to film. But then once you do bring the right people, you bring the right directors, you bring the right directors of photography and cinematographers. And I have, I don't know if y'all know her yet, but my really, really good friend, Maimo Tao, she worked as my other producer and our social media manager. And she's really young. Yeah. But she's the fucking future. And she's the...
We're coming for you.
I say that all the time about her. She's really, really good at what she does. She makes it's like she's the youngest person in the room, but she's always the adult in the room, if that makes sense. And so she's really good at she's really good at coming up with our marketing plan when it comes to graphics. Yeah. And because I don't know how to work Photoshop at all. Yes. And so she's the one who's just like, let me get it, Greg, and she just makes it all work for me. Yeah. So when it comes to the traditional film stuff, yes, we had those bases covered. But when it came to marketing and everything like that, we also had her. And that's not to say that she's not able to do the traditional film stuff, because she went to school for film, so she's really talented. She's multi-talented, multifaceted. Yeah. She's also a really good dancer, apparently, too.
Wow! People out here with secret talents.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
When is she gonna move to LA?
It's time.
Come here. We're friends.
She's so good. She's it blows my. There's one thing that I always say is, people are amazing. People simply are amazing. There's so many talented people in this world. You never know, and you should never. And that's why you should always consider everyone to have a fighting chance, because people are that amazing. Yeah. So
I love that.
Oh,
I'm such a big firm believer in, hey, if I don't know how to do it, I'm going to find someone who can do it for me. Yes. And that is bringing together community network options, networking, but also friendships and opportunity in that as well.
Totally.
So I love that, you really trusted people to be like, hey, I need it shot like this. This is the storyline, but let's see what you can envision.
Definitely.
I love that.
And I guess to piggyback off that and to answer your question as well, is a lot of that also works with collaboration. It's not one of those things where I don't like to say that I want to be the person that has the final say in things like that. Especially if I'm playing my role as the writer, if that makes sense. Yeah. I know I do have final say, being that I'm the executive producer, but the best part about making art, and just art in general, the best part of making art is the sake of collaboration. Yes. And seeing what other people can enhance your vision to ways that you couldn't fathom doing it on your own, Yeah. And I guess to add on to that, and I guess to all you young artists out there too, I'm a firm believer in this, is when you realize that art isn't a competition and it's about community. Yes. That's when art gets the most fun.
I love that. Art is not a competition. It's a community.
It really
That is very true. If you're doing art right, it is a community.
Yeah. But that's what makes it hard too, especially with with because I'm guilty as charged of this too before, when I used to think about it. It's just since we Hmong people, we don't have much. We're always racing to be the first one to do something. Yeah. We're racing to be a pioneer. We're racing to be the first Hmong person to do that, just for, whether it's for glory or or if your intentions are there, or good intentions are there, but I think it's such a bad way to look at things.
Yes.
Because because if it's a race, then and races are competitions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And given, yes, we may compete for jobs, but even though we may compete for jobs, we get that that's part of the game. But even if someone from our community wins, that's a win. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
I love that. That's so wholesome.
Yeah.
That's a very wholesome thing. I do think, I agree with you that a lot of times I do hear speculations or people in our community always, like thinking of the top and, but then like also we have a lot of winner. Everyone is a winner,
totally.
to be honest.
Everyone's a winner when someone wins.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that being said, I'm not saying that, we as Hmong people always have to work with each other.
Yeah.
Great if we could.
Yes.
But, great if we
if you
could.
can.
But like, let's say if if artistic differences are just too apparent, then maybe like maybe we shouldn't work with some people.
Yeah.
But then but that doesn't mean we don't want them to succeed.
Yeah. Right. And I think that's the biggest thing too. I feel like that's something that we definitely are seeing now. People are popping out more, doing more,
totally,
being more. And then on the other spectrum, it is true. People are also speaking out more.
Yes. Oh my
and
God,
being like, this is great. That that's great. But I do think, I do see in our community that it is like a race. It is very like, the first this, the first that, or like, who's doing da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
But I do truly believe that there's room for everybody at the top. Like it's not like it's like 2 feet, bro. It's a whole thing. Who said it's 2 feet? It can fit everybody.
I agree.
So I really truly believe everybody has a chance to rise to the top, and I don't see why we can't do that. Especially when there's not even a lot of us.
Right.
Like there's not a lot of Hmong people out there.
Yeah.
Who are like really well established, So the ones that we do have, it's like that's great, and the more people who are trying, I think we should still pursue that and support them, even if it's not the best quality, even if like they're actively trying, So I love that so much. I think that's the one thing that I truly love about the Hmong community is, what? Even though there is a lot of still growth to happen, there's still a lot of people who are like pushing for that. Definitely. They're pushing against that.
Yeah, and also to piggyback once more off that, it's like even if you are at the top, there's many factors that get you to the top. However, there's always going to be room to learn.
Yes,
and so
absolutely.
we always have to have that learner's mindset.
Yes,
and realizing that there's still room to grow.
Yes.
And even if you are the most successful, it doesn't mean that you've done and seen all.
Yeah, honestly, no.
So.
That is very true.
Yeah, I think just being humble as well really, especially if you're rising to the top, creates authenticity in you. And it honestly gathers people to really follow you as well as staying humble while you're rising to the top.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with knowing that you did what you did to get there. Like absolutely clap yourself. But it is true. You're not anything without your community as well.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So. That is very true. Okay, so we're going back to Modern Shaman.
I digressed.
I was like, speaking of all this, I'm like, within the whole short film, it was amazing, obviously, and everybody did such an amazing job delivering. Who was your favorite character?
My gosh, yeah, I would say, I love, we really do have a really strong ensemble and a really strong cast, and I think everyone played their roles perfectly.
Dude, I loved everyone. Beyond. I don't even know if I have a favorite.
I think I'm going to talk about this maybe more as a writer rather than
I was going to say, what's your favorite character?
Yes.
But like my favorite character to write, other than Modern Shaman, and honestly, Modern Shaman wasn't my favorite character. I would say my favorite character to write was a sister, Pachia. And I would say my other favorite character was the
I loved her too.
Was the character of Kira, which is the girl in the sunset. I don't want to go too much into this character because she's a little bit of a mystery. But I would say the girl in the sunset was probably my favorite character. Was my favorite character.
And those are some beautiful shots that you guys got of her.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we know that she is. But just to be, so I'm gonna just this. So if you don't know, this episode is me just plugging everyone, okay?
Yeah. Do it! That's what we're here for!
So the character that plays Modern Shaman's sister, her name is Pachia. Her name is Pachia Vang. I think she's probably one of my favorite actresses when it comes to subtlety, like subtle humor.
Represent you guys.
Yeah, subtle humor, subtlety. She's really, really good. Every time I work with her, she's really good at making a scene pop with doing so little, and that takes a lot of skill.
You know what I noticed about her?
A lot of skill.
Is her eyebrows.
Yes. Dude, I was like,
yes.
Oh yeah. Like, I see what you mean. Like literally, she would not move her face as much, but just even the slightest little like in her eyes, I could tell like you could tell the thought had changed.
Yeah.
You know, I can't do that. I would literally be like.
Yeah.
Totally.
But you could tell that like I'm trying to fucking make it look like you know.
I'm gonna like I have to make body movements to be like dramatic.
The whole hand and so she definitely killed that.
Oh yeah.
Like on site.
Yeah.
She's phenomenal.
I love that. Yeah. And then the actress who played the girl in the sunset, Kira, the actress, her name is Cha Lor.
Yeah.
This was her first. She's so cool. She's like, if you find her on Instagram, she's like, she's a really cool like.
I follow her on Instagram.
Model.
We're gonna plug her in here just because we love her.
Oh my god. I could stop. Yeah, like.
But this was her first
like
speaking role
everything.
ever. This is the first time she's actually spoke in a film.
Wow.
And she hit it out of the park, and it was.
Dude, she killed that.
Yeah, it was really caught me off guard because I was. Because her character was the last character we cast for the whole entire film.
Yeah.
Because we were trying so hard to find like who is this person going to be, and this person needs like this almost this edge to her.
Yeah.
But this edge that is very a haunting edge to her.
Yeah.
And when she
I love that.
And then when she sent us her audition tape, when she sent us her audition tape, we had her. It was kind of a tough tape because we had her speak in Hainan language or speak in Shakespearean, if that makes sense.
Oh,
And so, and that's really hard to ask. I guess
for anyone,
anyone,
who hasn't really done a lot of
like let's
practice.
say
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Peter.
For quote unquote, like I don't want to say that she's an inexperienced actor,
Yeah.
but for an actor that doesn't have that much experience,
no, because she's phenomenal. She's done a lot. She's more of a model.
Yeah, she's more of a model.
She's amazing.
But she fucking ate that shit up, and
yes,
and she did so good at that.
Yeah, she did.
And her audition was so haunting. There was so much melancholy behind it, and I was like, she's the person we need to cast. And so
that's so nice.
I love
that's a really good word, melancholy. Melancholy type of like vibe.
Yeah.
So I would say those two are my as a writer, my two favorite characters to write. However, when we screen tested this in front of like different audience members from different demographics, a lot of like the American audience members, they loved the character of Cassandra, which is played by Erin Roberts. She's the acting teacher.
Oh yeah,
she did really well.
They loved her. They also loved.
Dude, she's good.
They also loved Monty Moore, which is the Hmong celebrity.
Yes.
Yeah,
no, he played a douche.
Yeah.
But he did so good.
He did so good at it. Like we always have that BS friend or cousin.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean?
He's like, did you check out my new YouTube video or my new TikTok? I'm Hmong famous now.
Even in the trailer, that's the one thing that made me want to watch it.
Interesting. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. So when Modern Shaman first came out, I did see a lot of stuff, and I was kind of like, I was like, oh, is it a theater? You know, I was like, okay, is it like a theater play? Yeah. Like, cool. You know, maybe they're gonna film it and put it on YouTube. Like, I'm gonna stream that shit, I'm gonna promote it. And then obviously, I saw the teaser, and then I was like, what the? I was like, who is this man? Why did you spill water on my friend?
Yeah, it was like a quick 1 second clip of.
Yeah, that's what sold me. I'm not gonna lie. Like that one scene, I was like, this was shot so good. Just that 1 second makes me want to see what the fuck led up to this.
Totally.
So yeah, like I don't know if that helps, but that's the one thing that really caught my attention when I saw the trailer. Yeah, like I was just like, this looks good.
Yeah,
it's so funny that you say that because it's like I guess me as the creator, I'm always really interested in like what draws an audience member in, and there's so many people that are wondering like, you know, what drew people in was, you know, what some people love the fact that Modern Shaman can't speak Hmong. Some people love the fact that, you know, it was making fun of like Hmong drinking culture about like just splattering beer on people. And there's some people that are just generally interested in Shakespeare or theater or Shakespeare or shamanism. So it's fine. Yeah.
I love that so much because I mean, obviously, I'm Christian. I don't. My family is not shaman, but even just like watching the film, I definitely felt like I could relate to it, even just on like a Hmong level.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, damn, even something I'm like, oh dang.
Yeah.
Whoa, you know, like just experiencing that from myself, from my perspective, like from someone who's not shaman at all, I loved it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's very much still a Hmong film, but I think anybody from all walks of life and different demographics can enjoy it. At least that's our hope and that's our goal.
Yes. Yes, dude, it was so good. Okay, why did you choose the director that you chose?
Oh, Kang, because Kang's fucking awesome.
Wait, I know he's from 1985.
Yeah,
he's Hmong, right?
Kang Vang is from 1980.
Oh my god, look at all these Vang people. Okay, what?
Yeah, so Kang Vang, he directed a film called 1985.
Oh wait, I saw that on YouTube.
Yeah, I think it's on YouTube. Yeah,
I think so.
But it's out there.
Yeah, it's out there. They also sell it on DVDs, like.
I need to buy this. What the
It's a really cute, like, good film.
Yeah, it's pretty much a love
letter. That's gonna be my
letter.
homework this weekend.
It's a love letter to like growing up as, you know, refugees in America, and especially how Hmong people grew up as refugees. It's really it's a cute love letter. It's not. It's one thing I love about Kang's style is that I think Kang's style doesn't take himself too seriously, and Kang as a person doesn't take himself too seriously, and I think that's really rare to find. When you are essentially, it's rare to find when you are looking at an older Hmong director.
Yeah, that is very true.
Not trying to talk shit about older Hmong directors, but it's like, but you know, being a director is such a position of power, and I think people really wear that hat.
They utilize it really.
And so I knew with
I know what you mean.
Yeah, so I knew with Modern Shaman, I really because I knew I didn't want to direct it because I don't think I'm a good director. I know where my specialties lie elsewhere. And so when I asked Kang to do it, I specifically chose him because I knew he would be a director that would be good with collaboration. Dude. He's a director that I'd say likes to play around a lot, and so I think knowing with my style and his style, he can add some zaniness to it. Meanwhile, I can add layers to ground it, and then we could see where we meet in the middle.
Now that you mention it, now that I think about the shots, I think that's one of the reasons why I really loved the film, because when I'm looking at it, I'm not looking at it thinking like it's funny to say, like I'm not looking at it thinking it's a Western film. Like for example, The Conjuring, right? The second one, I think the one where they're in London. I love the way it was filmed. Beautifully shot, very cool cinematic stuff. But you can get the vibe that it's kind of a London, thing. With the way it was filmed, I just love that, like even just the way some of the perspective shots were shot, even with like the shaman rituals and stuff. I was like, whoa, I feel like only truly Hmong people could have been like, this is how we want it to look. This is how we want it to be seen. Like, like just even some like the angles of the way that it was shot, I was like, this is so dramatic. Like, I love that. Compared to like, no offense, like if we got a person had done it, I feel like they would have done it too, and it would have been great. But I don't know if it would have been on a like, oh yeah, I feel like this is me. More like, this just looks very cinematic and very, well put together, but not Asian, if that makes sense.
Definitely. I think Denzel Washington had an interview one time when he did the film called Fences, which was originally a play, and it's about a black family, and people were talking about like, why do we need a black director to do this? And it's just like, and he said it with so much wisdom and grace about saying that, like, saying essentially about like, a white director probably could do this.
Yes.
But could he do it to the level that we do it?
Yeah.
Which is the level of culture.
Yes.
You could be the most talented person in the world, but if you don't have knowledge of the culture or don't have experience of the culture, it's not going to be the same, because you can imagine what it's like, but can you know and feel what it's like?
Yes. So. That is very true.
Yeah. I also felt like watching it also felt like he filmed it like he wanted us to be there. Like I was there in that scene, or like I am you watching it, seeing it from that kind of perspective as well.
With like occasional POV, the POV shots for especially when they're in the spirit world. Yeah, totally.
That was so cool.
Dude, I love Modern Shaman so much. I'm like, thank you so much for like sharing it with us and letting us, get a little sneak peek. I'm still geeking out of it. I can't wait for it to drop. What kind of message would you like to send to anybody? I mean, anybody who has yet to see the short film, and maybe people who have seen it.
Yeah, so I guess what I want people to see for the pilot is the overall goal at the end of the day is I want the theme I really just wanted to explore is that it's okay for Hmong and Southeast Asianers to go chase greatness.
Yes. Yes.
It's an underdog film. It's a film about, you know, defining and breaking cultural or societal or personal limitations.
Yeah.
And finding the calling to go chase greatness, whether that is a spiritual calling or a personal artistic calling.
I love that so much.
That's the main goal.
And you resound that so much. Like, you are living proof of that. Thank you for making this film.
That was terrible.
The Thai got him feeling a little faded. I'm just kidding.
Put like, I don't know, what would be a rum and Thai tea?
Ooh, that would taste good with this.
Oh
Actually.
yeah, the rum or rum chata. I'm just kidding.
Oh yes, or horchata.
Oh.
Thai tea would be good.
Oh, Daisy, I might be a little too sweet, don't you think? I might be like sweet out.
Maybe like not too much cinnamon.
Not too much cinnamon.
Go to the party and call it a day. It'd be so much fun.
Oh, that's so true. I'm like, but I'm almost done with mine. I killed this.
Really
thank you so much once again for sharing about Modern Shaman. I'm like, I feel like we could talk about Modern Shaman all day. Dude, no, I love that so much. So please keep us updated on that. If you guys want to know more about that, make sure you guys follow Gregory on Instagram. What is your Instagram?
Greg Grammars. Follow us on that, or you can follow Modern Shaman Pilot on Instagram as well too if you want exclusive Modern Shaman content.
It is worth it, you guys. Trust me. Everything out there that gets spit out is so good. Especially if you Hmong. You know, I feel like you would really love and appreciate that.
Definitely. We want Hmong people to see this. We want Hmong people to embrace it. We want Hmong television out there, and this is our first step, hopefully, to getting
it's step in the right direction.
Yeah,
getting us on the map.
Getting Hmong shows on TV.
Yes.
And that's our plan. So.
Well, I was like playing on the theme of, you know, with your film being out here and inclusion and everything. Our kind of theme today is like afraid to be Asian, right? Or even just like Asian, just growing up Asian and just how that experience was for you. So for us, I think the first question I kind of have is like interracial relationships. And I also bring this up because we are the three that probably are perfect for this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my god.
So, speaking of which, I'm like, I know you, Greg, like growing up, what was that like for you? Like when you were dating, what was it, your expectations? And, you know, a lot of people probably could be like, oh, why don't you date Hmong? Or did you date Hmong? Like, stuff like that.
So it's interesting because I had 3, when it comes to like girlfriends, like long-term relationships, I've only had 3 in my life.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My first girlfriend, she was Filipino. My second girlfriend, she was Hmong.
And
my third girlfriend, she was white.
Okay.
And so yeah, how my dating life is going now? It's like weird. Like
dating in LA is weird and hard.
Dating in LA is weird. Is definitely weird. It's hard. But it's like the majority of people that I am going on dates with are they're white, and I feel like it's so weird because it's like LA is such a diverse city. But
yes.
I guess just white girls are just really into me right now.
Hey, I mean.
but it's one of those things where for me it's just like it just isn't my It's not like I'm intentionally trying to date white people. It just happens.
Yeah, you're especially personality and just if you guys click, I can see that. You know, like even attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Totally, yeah. But it's just but it and it's I don't necessarily think like yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's just like I'm very much open to like whoever comes my way.
You're not limited to just this. You're honestly open to everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I see that. You're such a social butterfly.
I love that.
Yeah, but
honestly, you're probably like the most interesting Asian. That's probably why they're probably like, well, this Asian guy is like so unique. That's why.
But you know what's weird?
You're very open-minded too.
Yeah, but you know what's really weird? I also just don't think like. I just also don't think that like for instance, like some POC people might not be into me just because I come off as very like white passing and things like that. Just because just because how I carry myself. It's like you get that shit all the time. Especially they're like when you get like Hmong people who are like, wow, you sound really white, or you're so whitewashed. You're just like, fuck you guys. I'm super happy to be Hmong.
I'd be like, I'm Hmong. It's just culturally, I was raised a little different.
I had that moment before when someone was like, you sound like such a white girl. I went off.
I went off. That shit?
Yeah, I'm like, what makes me sound white? You sound like a white boy. You know what I mean? It was a guy that said it to me too. No. Like, you speak in English, you sound like a white boy. Yeah. Like, how do you feel when I say that? Like, come on,
it's really annoying. But I do think that, like, when it comes to, I guess for me, when it comes to dating, I do think that, like, it's just, I don't know. I think there's just how I may carry myself just may not attract certain, it may not attract people. And, it is what it is. I'm very much at the point where, like, I'm really happy with who I am, and I don't really want to change myself to fit molds.
Absolutely Asian.
Yeah,
in your own way. Everybody's Asian in their own way.
Yes.
Everybody's growing, their experience growing up is always different. Mm-hmm. I love meeting different types of Hmong people. I'd be like, what the? Like, I'll be meeting people who, like, their parents are super supportive, right? Of their dreams and stuff. You see them thrive, you're like, damn!
Yeah.
And then you also meet people who, like, have very strict parents. Yeah. And I'm like, how'd you get away with, like, half of these things?
I know! You're the Hmong rebels.
But I still love and thrive with these people. I'm like, yeah, girl. I'm like, damn, that's why we besties.
Yes, exactly.
But I love that. I love that there's so much difference in that. And I was gonna say too. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Control.
Oh no, please continue.
I talked too fast. Because like even just like for me growing up, I actually dated a lot of Hmong people growing up. It probably wasn't until, but I did feel like growing up when I was dating Hmong, I did this like without thinking too. Like I always dated for my family. If that made sense. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, I did what was best for them, and because I knew they liked it and they wanted it. Mm-hmm. So, like, there's times where, like, I would date, like, somebody, and nothing bad. Like, these men were amazing. Like, good Hmong guys. Nice people. But there was just so many times where I was just, like, I want more. And, like, I would have conversations with them, too. Like, not about it. I'd be like, oh, like, what do you want to do, like, when you graduate? And they'd be like, I don't know. Yeah. I think I'm just gonna, I don't know, maybe get a job.
Get a job.
And I'm like, okay, well, like, if I go to California, like, how do you feel about that? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like, do you know me? Do you want me?
I get that.
Yeah, so I think there was just a lot of times where, like, I just really wanted more for myself, and I feel like the environment and the people I was surrounded with, I just think they were, not that they didn't want more for them, I think they were just content, and their dreams were just very different from mine. And I just knew, like, dang, I'm just a very hungry person when it comes to dream passion, so I knew that in order to thrive, I needed to surround myself with those same exact people.
I get that. I get that completely.
And I think that, and then that's when I started dating outside of the culture. And I'm not gonna lie, the first time I dated outside the culture, it wasn't even that far out, okay? I dated a Filipino too.
Okay. Experience.
I was like, I dated a Hmong person, I went to Filipino. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it was a horrible relationship. It wasn't really the best. It was kind of toxic, and I just learned a lot about myself. I was like, damn, I feel like I deserve better. And obviously I did, and then I learned the hard way, and then I'm like, okay, great, I deserve better. I stepped out. I'm gonna do better for myself. But I did realize, like, dating outside of the culture, I found it so beautiful personally for me, just because being Hmong, you know a lot about Hmong. Yeah. Like, even if you don't know a lot about Hmong, like, you know Hmong. You grew up with it. You are it. You have siblings. You have parents. Yeah. You've gone to the parties, the rituals, all that stuff, or church, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, like, I love that I can be with somebody who brings a different culture, and it's something about that to, like, Santi, like, it's funny, my mom always dated, like, Latinos growing up, but I'd be like, okay, whatever, I love Hmong people, whatever. Yeah. And it wasn't until, like, I was, like, in college, I had my whole phase, and then I went on crazy, and then I was like, I'm gonna try dating other people that when I actually, like, also I think it does play heavy hand, because my mom she's engaged with my stepfather, which is Jovan. He's amazing. And, just being a part of, like, that culture has taught me so much. Like, I remember we would go to, like, Thanksgivings, and they would make us mole. Like, we would go there, and they would be, like, his mom, abuelita would make us mole, and then, like, they had, like, an uncle dressed up as Santa who came in, and it was just, like, really cute stuff, and I was just like, wow, yeah, like, it's so cute seeing another culture, the way people celebrate it differently, the foods that you eat, and I find it so beautiful, you know, because I'm like, wow, this is new to me. Totally. I love this. So I think personally for me, that's also why I think dating outside of your community and your culture is also really important, or just getting to know people outside of your community too, because you know there's so many of us.
Totally.
But yeah, like for me, I'm like, how about you, Nikki? Because I know you be dating.
In reverse card to you.
Oh hey, yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh, I feel like this is it's one of the most. Not one of the most sensitive, but it is a very sensitive topic for the Hmong community. Yeah. Especially for, and the different, like, I would say for women and for men. Yeah. Because a lot of, like, there's so many reasons why a lot of Hmong women don't feel like they want to date Hmong men. And then there's the Hmong men saying, well, why? You know, like, you know what I mean? Hey, like, don't hate on us type of thing. Yeah. And I've kind of just come to my own terms with it. I feel like, well, okay, I'll tell you guys what my terms, like, just coming to my terms and, like, why it came to be. So, I just now generally love anyone. Yeah. Like, I just come to it, like, I don't want to, like, feel like I hate on dating Hmong men. I feel like I'm still open to that. However, there's like stipulations, you know, like it has to be this kind of man. Yeah. You have expectations of, and I just like, so I just kind of, and I think that was just recently this year, or in the last year, I was like, I'm just going to be really open-minded and, you know, not have like a, you know, a fixed or strict thing on who I should date. But I would say for my liking and my preference, I prefer to date someone who has really a culture where they understand the disparities and the diversity and have been through adversity to be who they are. Sure. Yes. And I think that just helps, that makes me gravitate more towards other people of color. Yes. And so, you know, I've experimented and like, you know, tried dating like white guys, you know, Latino guys, and, you know, but recently, you know, I'm dating someone black. And so actually like my last 2 exes,
he's so sweet,
were black. They were black. And then I had like a Blasian boyfriend. But I dated Hmong guys too. Like I had a Hmong ex, and I think that for a long time that relationship really made me feel like I don't want to date a Hmong guy because of like you go through so much with Hmong families, and it's not that the fact that he's Hmong, but it's just like dealing with the family aspect and the parents and the prejudiceness and the, you know, everything is your fault type of.
The culture is really like that. Not a bad way, but it is very like it falls heavily on the woman.
It does.
It's like you're taking care of the family. Yeah. You also have to be respectful. Yeah. But you also, not saying you don't get respect, but I do feel like sometimes those women don't get the respect that they deserve or that they need. And I think that that's what women are kind of hesitant about now, because they're like, ooh, I want to feel respected and heard. I want to feel safe and like I can speak out. Yeah. You know? And I feel like, our community is definitely growing. We've done so much growing. Yeah. Like, women have pushed for it, men have pushed for it, men have listened, you know? So I think that we have so much more opportunity now. And I think that's also why, like, Hmong people are just more open to it. Like, whether you're dating your culture or outside your culture, it's so different from back then. Because back in the day, if you were somebody else a different color, it don't matter. Everybody looked at you. Yeah, you know what I mean? But nowadays, it's more like, what you're looking at. Right. You know what I mean? Be like, if you ain't paying my bills, what you're looking at.
For sure.
You know? But I'm like,
yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
As my sisters, I feel you all. Like, I don't, like, I say I can't feel you guys because I know. I know what it's like
you feel it!
I don't know what it's like to be a Hmong woman, but I do know that the standards are different, and I do know that there are like huge double standards when it comes to interracial dating, at being a Hmong man and being a Hmong woman. You know, it's like I remember when I was dating my white girlfriend, who was my white ex-girlfriend. Like a lot of people like gave me praise, like, "Oh, you scarred yourself a white girl." But today, like, you get praised for that. You know what I
don't think I've ever been praised for dating somebody of color. I mean, not my culture.
But I do think it's different for women, because it's like, because I felt like in reverse, you know, people are all like, oh, well, she's just another, like, you know, like, white worshiper or black worshiper when it comes to dating. So, like, she has a track record of dating, like, you know, of, like, a certain race, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Which is like, my thing is this. It's like, I'm like, you can date whoever you want, love whoever you want.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
But just be aware, like, if it's like, and one thing, but just be aware, like, you know, am I being fetishized, or are they dating me for who I am?
Oh my gosh, yeah. There's so many times I'm like, are you want the yellow fever?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because, like, you know, and I think like that's the case is sometimes because, like, even, like, you know, with the rise of Asian media, you know, with, like, BTS and everything like that.
We not a hype.
There's moments where, like, it was because there was moments where I'm like, oh, I think I'm being fetishized right now, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
And because when you think about, like, dating, I don't know, let's say 10, 15 years ago, like, Asian men did not get the same amount of love for that.
Yeah.
However, Asian women were often fetishized due to dragon lady stereotypes, due to Full Metal Jackets, like, you know, me love you long time stuff right there. And so that's why that there's that big I don't know. That's where I feel like some of the controversy is.
Yeah.
But however, for, like, us Hmong dudes who are, like, upset for Hmong women dating outside of the race, that shouldn't be the case, you know. Like, and, like, so, like, for the sisters, like, I just hope that you, like, look into it and see, like, and just check that you're not being fetishized. And for Hmong dudes, like we shouldn't criticize because you would be giving your boys a high five for dating someone outside of the race.
Right.
But then and I think it just honestly stems from, like, patriarchy and control, like how we want to control our ladies. We want to make sure that they're, you know, that they're dating, you know, within the race because it's just like this weird sense of control. And it's but I do think that I do think, you know, the moment we, like, let go of those practices, the moment we don't try to be so controlling and such, and then I think that's when we can start really reflecting as Hmong men about just, you know, about letting go of some of these past expectations that older generation of men have try to pass down on their sons.
Curious, because I'm like, I have a question.
Please.
This just came up. I'm like, do you think that the way even, like, okay, just curious. So the way you were raised, do you feel like your family was very exposed to multiple types of, like, diversities? Like, do you feel like your parents actually did a good job of getting you in front of, like, different people? Or do you feel like it was all just strictly just Hmong parties, Hmong families, Hmong stuff? Like, how do you feel?
For me, I don't think it was intentional, but the fact that we did move to Florida really helped with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, to have more diversity or less?
To have more diversity outside of the Hmong community.
Yes.
Because very much from, like, when I moved to Florida, I grew up in a Mexican neighborhood.
Oh!
And so, I remember going...
Were they bumping music?
Yeah!
It's so fun! I love it.
I remember going to my first carne asada.
I'm like, damn, why did they invite us?
I remember my first...
I
went to a quinceañera.
You've been to a quince? I've never been to a quinceañera.
Oh my god, it's so fun.
Okay, when I have a child, you guys are coming to my child's quince.
Please, let's go to this. Let's make it happen. So
it's gonna be our quince.
So it's like it's really funny. But, like, growing up in Florida, I felt like I was exposed to a lot of things, and I think that's why I would say that I'm not as traditional when it comes to that sense, because I grew up in a different state.
Yeah.
And now there's like, so now as I like reflect and think about it, like, whoever I marry, whether it's a Hmong woman or whether it's a woman outside of the community, I'm very curious on how I want to raise my kids. Like, do I want to? Because there's a part of me that wants to give them the Hmong community experience. And maybe, like, living in a big Hmong community. Yeah. But there's a lot of part about myself who, like, didn't have that experience. I'm like, would I have been the same person I am now if I was raised in the community?
Yeah.
Or
with just the community.
Exactly. Because like it could have been totally different. Like you could be talking to a different person right now.
Yes.
Right.
Because I used acting as an outlet to like, and I used acting as an outlet of expression in Florida. But would I have needed that outlet of expression when I was already expressing myself as a Hmong person within a Hmong community? Who knows? You know. So
yeah, like I bring it up because I'm like we're all obviously people who date outside of our culture in our community as well, and I'm like I wonder if like our upbringing also had a bit in that, because since we were exposed to so many different types of people, we were more open to like, wow, these are other people, right? Compared to like just being in your community and thinking, okay, like this is it. You know, like I'm just gonna pick from this pool. You know, compared to like a bigger pool and be like, wow, there's so many different types of people in the world who bring so much, you know. And I think Hmong people are beautiful. Obviously, we're always gonna have that, you know. But I'm like,
we are some beautiful fuckers.
Yes, we do. Sometimes I look at like, whoa, like, I didn't know they made us like that.
Yes.
I said, good
I know, right?
Tell me your secrets. Okay, I was like, to close it off with the last question is gonna be when did you feel that like you were being included within the Asian experience growing up, and when did you feel like you were not being included? Like, for example, like I know like sometimes, right, we'll see movies and we'll be like, dang, I don't see no Hmong people, right, no Asian people. But also, when do you feel like there was moments you're like, whoa, I see Hmong people?
It's so funny you say that, because it's so hard because there's times when I just like never feel Hmong enough, if that makes sense.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, and it must be the same way for you because I know you're half Laotian and half Hmong, right?
Yeah.
And so there's times where you just like don't feel like Hmong enough in spaces, like, you know, when you go to like back in the day when you go to like Checker Bar or you just say now Minnesota, you have these conversations with people and they're like, wow, you're super white. You're and it's just like I'm like, well, what'd you expect? We grew up in a majority like white country. You know? To answer your questions, I've sometimes felt that I am as I mentioned before, I think sometimes feel that like I am most Asian or most myself when I am surrounded by like smaller communities. Yeah. Because we recognize each other as Hmong people and we don't question that, especially. And we also live in a city such as Los Angeles that people don't question your background or question who you are. They accept who you are. Yes. And like whether that's, you know,
the conversations I hear are way different.
Yeah. Whether it's funny because like, you know, let's say if you had this conversation like if you were back in your hometown or if you're even in St. Paul and people are like, oh, what do you do for a living? Yeah. Kalina, they'd be like, well, I'm a musician. And they're like, oh, well then how come I don't hear you on the radio? Yeah. They'll expect that.
It would be like that very much.
Yeah, and that's the same thing goes when I go back to Minnesota. Is like they're like, oh, what do you do for work? I'm an actor. Oh, how come you're not in the Avengers? You know what I mean? And it's just like
I'm trying, okay?
Oh, but you're in LA. I'm getting there. You're not doing anything.
Yeah, like, and it's just like one of those things. But then, because we're here in the entertainment industry here, we know that, you know, there are different jobs out there, and those you know Hollywood A-lister jobs are just super hard to get. Yes. But you still book your commercials here. You still book your plays. You book your short films, and you book your low budgets, and you. Yeah. There's so many jobs out here that's just not presented to the mass of America.
If you guys don't know, Greg is phenomenal. He gets hella... I mean, I know he got hella bookings in Minnesota, but he does get a lot of bookings out here, and he just does such a great job representing... Honestly, I think you look phenomenal. I love that you have the face and the vibe for it, and you just go out there and be like, that's a Hmong person. It don't matter if you speak Hmong or not. To me, if you Hmong, you Hmong. You know what I mean? I'm just like... At the end of the day, you have that blood. You're part of the community. You know, and I do know that our language is also kind of slowly falling out, you know, but people are also doing really hard to preserve that. And also, at the end of the day, not saying that it isn't all language, but at the end of the day, language isn't just what makes a community too. I agree. It's also the culture, the people, everything else outside of that. Yes. So I feel like as long as you're holding some kind of piece of your culture, that's all that truly, that respect and that love is all that really, really matters.
Totally. Totally. I agree.
Like, what about you, Nikki? The time you felt like you was the least Asian or like the most Asian?
I don't know. I feel like to answer that question, I always understood the difference of me being a person of color. Like, I am Asian, I have all these things, you know, Asian features, like I do things, people say, oh, that's so Asian of you. Yeah. That's very Asian of you. Yeah. I mean, I think it was high school when, you know, like, obviously I I moved to a white suburb from St. Paul. At very young, like in Cottage Grove, and there was like literally nothing there yet for all my people who live in Cottage Grove. And now it's like, you know, super built up. There's a huge community there. But I was probably like this. Our family was probably like the second Hmong family that moved there.
Sure.
Like that I can remember. Yeah, because there was only one other Hmong person that went to school with me, and like we became like best friends. You know,
Hmong si Hmong.
Yes, exactly. But growing up in high school, I just remember like someone asking me like, "Are you Asian or are you Korean?"
Don't say.
I'm like,
I'm both. I'm just kidding.
I kind of laughed at him and I was like, I don't know, what do you think I am? And I think like, and I gave that sense like, I don't know, what do you think I am? Like, what do you think? You know? And he was just like, oh. Like I said something wrong. I didn't even answer him.
Yeah.
But I just was like, okay, I don't know. I'm like, wow, someone really asked me that. I'm like, I don't know if I feel out of place or like how I should answer that because we're at school. Like, should I be like, no, you know, like I'm Hmong and, you know, I should just be funny with it because I think also at that age growing up, you're also kind of identifying and understanding your reactions to the whole world.
Yeah.
Sure.
Being a person of color.
Sure.
And so I think I just felt like there was a certain point in my life where I was like, I just knew I was Asian and I'm gonna rock it, whether anyone likes it or not. And I've always just kind of like been really apologetic about that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Just love that he like asked you for like a continental approach.
Right. Like, are you Asian or are you Korean?
Yeah.
I was like, what do you think?
Having one of those.
And then there's like a nationalist one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's
I think
so
you
hard
see
to
the whole
explain.
thing.
Dude, I don't know how many times I've gotten that question. I mean, the Asian thing, that's for sure. But I feel like the one thing that I know everybody can relate to is, what are you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm Hmong. And then they go, oh, Mongolian?
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, that's like the first thing people always ask. Oh, Mongolian? And I'm like, good try.
Yeah.
Good try. But yeah, I'm like, personally, like for me, I feel like growing up, the one thing that I felt like I was super inclusive in, but not at the same time, was Brenda Song. I think she was the perfect representation of me seeing somebody Hmong who didn't speak Hmong, didn't act Hmong at all, but I knew was Hmong, and was still, to me, was such a pivotal pillar for me as inspiration. You know what I mean? I remember watching Wendy Wu Warrior, okay? I know that was a Chinese movie. I know my girl was not Chinese, but I was still like, you go there and you deliver that, you know? And I love that. Like, for me, that meant a lot to me. Even though I know a lot of people also had some other perspectives, like, oh, she's playing a dumb Asian. I'm like, she's on national television. Like, dude, she's on Disney Channel.
Like Zach and Cody.
Yeah, I'm like, this is awesome. Like, she literally, I could see myself. That probably was the best experience for me growing up, was having that inclusion. Yeah.
One of my dreams actually is to like try to get Brenda Song to come out to like
Dude,
premiere.
I want to meet Brenda Song. We're in LA. Brenda, please let us meet you. We love you so much.
Brenda Song, I honestly think she was the first like Hmong child star that really rose to the top.
And that is so difficult.
Yeah.
Even just to hear child star stories who are not Hmong.
She would go to the Hmong New Year's in California and advertise herself as a kid, when she was a kid, being like, hey, donate to my like fund to, you know, go acting and stuff like that. Yeah, I like read someone's story and they're like, here she is, you know, and no one, I'm gonna be honest, no one gives her enough credit.
Yes, they do not.
No one doesn't have credit. They, for some reason, her Hmong card got revoked, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm like, see, this is what I mean. See, this is what I mean. It's kind of like they want you to stay at the bottom or to make it to the top. But even the one that we made it to the top, it still wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, she's good enough for me. I'm like, I don't give no fuck. She represent. But I see that. I think there's definitely a double standard in the Hmong community.
It's a double standard. And like my roommate and I were talking about just like I wonder like what kind of like work could be done for us to like let her know that she is accepted in this community. I mean, and because real talk, I don't know if she like hangs out with Hmong people still. I don't know if she like hangs out with her family still. But I just like
I think she's protecting her energy, and I don't blame her.
Yeah, exactly. I don't blame her.
I love you,
I
Brenda.
don't think she gives any fucks anymore.
But I'm like,
nope.
yeah. So
She deserves to live in peace.
She deserves to live in peace. But I'm like, what can we do though?
Yeah.
And
To bring her out.
To bring her out. To like, not even like to like even represent, but just to, like her to like, I don't know, like, find some, you know, like belonging in the community again. Yeah. And maybe she does. Maybe she has her own community, her own village. And I'm okay with that. Whether it's with you know Hmong people or not. But I just I just want to let you know, like, just let her know, like, hey, you know, you are loved, you are respected, and you get paid a lot of ways. You know?
Yes, dude.
Absolutely.
We're all Brenda song fans here, so ain't nobody gonna give you hate. We just don't love you a lot.
Brenda.
Like,
yes.
I remember seeing her in the Like Mike movie. That was like I'm pretty sure that was her.
Wait, what?
Like Mike, she played one of the orphans in Like Mike with Lil Bala.
No, I didn't know, but I did watch her the movie where she forgot her memory. I forgot what it's called.
What is it called?
I forgot.
But it's a scary movie, right?
Yeah!
And
the
then,
one
like,
where she plays like the wife
in the house.
the wife who like forgets her
she
memory.
did a good job.
Dude, she did a good job at being scared.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see her in more stuff, but I think she's probably being very intentional with her energy, her time, and her roles. Yeah. You know, especially like with her. I'm also just really happy for her. I love seeing her thrive now, and I love seeing her so happy. Like
and she's with the guy from Home Alone.
Yeah, like, they're so cute. Her babies. I know. They have babies.
Speaking of thriving, you know who I'm really happy for?
Who?
Lexus Vang.
Yeah! Lexus! Go Lexus!
Dude, I've been listening to her song on repeat lately.
Dude, I have been listening to all 3 of their songs.
You.
Yes.
Exactly.
Dude, I've been listening to their songs back to back. I want to learn their choreos. I'm gonna.
It's so
I was
cute.
like, dun, in the universe. Yeah.
I love that.
I'm doing it.
And the fact that she was first pick.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like from her an original audition tape, like JYP just already knew. She was like, she's gonna get it.
I could be wrong, but this is just me being marketing because I'm a social media specialist. Mm-hmm. I think that he was watching. I think he was very, very. He saw how receptive people were to Lexus and how people were commenting and be like, Lexus. She's important to that, and I think he saw that and he knew she was pivotal. So I was like, he's smart. You smart, JYP.
Okay, because like I've also seen the analytics too, like the numbers. Whenever anything comes out with her and they do like clips, she's at like 30,000 views, 20,000.
Yes!
And I'm not saying anything about the other girls. I think that they did amazing.
They're also
and everyone
talented.
earned their place there, you know. But like I think the community really backs her up.
So how I met Lexus. So I went to this dance class for Casey Rice. It was a back-to-back dance class. I don't know what I was thinking. I really thought I could dance for like 4 hours straight. So I booked all 3 classes because I was like, I'm about to put my worth, my time, and effort. So I went to this dance class, and I kid you not, I was like, I think I was the only, okay, I'm not the only adult there, but I felt like one of the only adults there. I was like one of the only like 5 or 6 adults there. But everybody else was pretty young and like in their teens to like even, there was like 7-year-olds there. Ooh! Yeah, taking this class. And so I did these classes back to back. I remember when I first walked into the room, I did that thing, right? I saw an Asian girl and I was like, ooh. That Asian girl, we're gonna be friends.
Like, I have tunnel vision right now.
I walked straight to her and I was like, hi, like nice to meet you. You know, I'm Kalina, and she's like, oh hi, like I'm Lexus, and you know, I'm not trying to be weird either. I'm like, oh, you know, like I'm Hmong, you know, and she's like, oh, I'm Hmong too. And I'm like, oh my god. And I was like, that's so cool. So I wasn't trying to be weird. I'm like, oh yeah, can I follow you on Instagram? She's like, yeah. So we followed each other on Instagram. And like that was that. And then like we had the dance class. I'm not gonna lie. After those 3 dance classes, I died. I just went. I didn't even say goodbye to anybody. I just left. I didn't even say goodbye to Lexus. I just left. And I remember telling Santi, I was like, wow, I met this Hmong girl at this Chicago dance class. And I'm like, that is so crazy. I've never met another Hmong person at a dance class. You know, like, I've never met other Hmong people who, no offense, like, in my opinion, like, go out there, do stuff. You know, I'm usually the only Hmong person. Yeah. So I'm like, I get it. Whoa, you know, so I was saying, like, that's so cool. I didn't know there's Hmong people in Chicago. Like, props to them, you know? So then I followed her on Instagram, and then a few days later, I saw she posts consistent, like she would post like content all the time. She was going to dance at this studio, and I was like, wow, I give her so much props. She was posting like 2-3 videos a week. So she, you know, she was going to dance like 2-3 times a week. And then I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like I want to go to dance classes, and I saw that at the same dance studio, like the same background, right? Some of my friends who are dancers in Milwaukee had the same background videos, and then I was like.
What?
I was like, wait a minute. Are they driving to Chicago every weekend for this? And I'm like, what the heck? And then I realized, because I clicked on the Instagram for the dance studio, it was in Milwaukee. And then I was like, wait, she's in Milwaukee? Like, did she come to Milwaukee just for the dance class? So I didn't I didn't know, but I was like, anyways, I love this studio. I didn't know there was a dance studio for hip hop in Milwaukee, so I booked it. And then I went to my first ever class. And sure enough, when I went in, I saw Lexus. She came in after me, but she came in, she's like, oh, hi. I'm like, hi. And then sure enough, I found out she lived in Milwaukee at the time. But yeah, at that point in time, we did a lot of dance classes together, but we've never actually like, I think she was going to join the crew at some point, but she's a very busy girl because she also was doing ballet. Yeah. She was taking ballet, like she was actually doing ballet boot camps. And stuff. Yeah. And I had reached out to her mom. I was like, oh, like I want to do a photo shoot. I want to do like video shoots. So her mom was super sweet. And this is also when I was trying to build my portfolio. So she came in, like we did all these photos. Like we did some really cute like ballerina pictures and everything. And then, that was that. So after that, and then I did the, what was it called? Embrace Your Baddie. I did a video a few years ago where I brought all these women. I was like, any females who want to dance, if you're Hmong, come through. I'll feed you. I'll teach you guys choreo. I'm going to film it. I'm going to put it on social media. And she showed up. So her and 50 other girls were there. I choreographed it, whatever. And I love, obviously, she's so phenomenal. So I put her in the front. I have a shameless advertisement, my video right here, because she's so good. She's so good. And I was just like, I literally was like, I'm going to put her in front because I knew, I'm like, I want people to see that Hmong people are fucking amazing. I want them to see that they could be this, they could do this. And it's so funny. Then years later, you know, then this video pops up like, Lexus. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so sweet. I was so shook. I was like, oh my God. And yeah, her mom is so sweet. Her mom, she was like, yeah, thank you so much for like, you know, like, I'm like, thank you. Like, I hope Lexus does well. Like, so I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her. It's so crazy to think that the seeds you plant literally grow. Literally grow.
It's so true. And it just goes to show that, like, you know, if, community does play hand in hand with art. And if you get the community members behind a project or an art, like the term, if you build it, they will come. Or if you plant it, they will come.
Same thing.
Seriously, it takes a village to takes a village to raise a child. In this case, a K-pop world megastar now.
I don't give no care. I love that girl. Because, you know, it's funny, I posted it and people are like, she's not the first Hmong. She's the first Hmong American. I'm like, I don't care. I love that. She's the first Hmong American, Hmong K-pop, whatever. She's the first. It's not even the first. She's doing it. She's under an official agency, entertainment agency with the correct. With one of the biggest leading people in the industry.
It's like Korea is so well thought out with that type of work and industry. So it's like it's a big deal.
And I know this girl has been. I have seen her. Like she used to do so many like K-pop dance class pop-ups. She would drive her mom would drive her to Chicago like every weekend just so she could go dance with this dance crew in Chicago. And like I just remember, and her uncle, somebody in her family was a videographer. He would shoot all of her videos and they were so nice. Like she really, really, truly wanted this. So to see her do this real life made me so happy. I was like, girl, you really went out there. You took that. You took that dream. But oh my God.
That's the thing, you know, that's a perfect example of just, you know, as artists, you know, just consistency will always be key, and that's how you do it, you know. It's not one of those things where you just come and show up and expect to be a star.
You really have to manifest it, and not manifest as in wish for it. You work for it. You truly work towards it every day, whether it's a little thing or a big thing, you know. But oh my God, yes, I love Lexus so much. I'm like, speaking of Lexus and people who are pivotal in the Asian community, we also wanted to give a really big thank you to our sponsor, Sunfat. Sunfat Thai tea. Y'all already know it made from the finest ingredients with only 220 calories, y'all. You know, Sunfat Thai tea is the only Thai tea for me. So if y'all ever in the Fresno or Sacramento area or even Merced, make sure y'all check that out because this shit is delicious.
It is really good.
I've been drinking Oh my God. But yes, I love this drink so much. Hold on.
It's so good. It's so good.
Killed it. Okay, it's empty now.
Oh my God, you actually finished yours.
Yeah, I killed it, dude. That's how good it is.
It's really good.
So good.
Yes, but I'm like, thank you guys so much for tuning in for today's video and our podcast episode. Make sure you guys don't forget to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, and tune into Spotify to hear our full podcast. But also don't forget to follow Greg on Instagram as well as Modern Shaman on Instagram so you guys can stay up to date with all the amazing projects that Greg's doing and then Modern Shaman because y'all know we love that film. But yeah, other than that, we love y'all so much. Go forth and be Asian.